And we are so back. We are back in the Yinzcenter again. It's been a couple weeks. Enjoyed the holiday. Hope you guys all enjoyed yours too. We are stoked to be back.
A lot of news. A lot of Penguins news.
Good old Penguins stuff to talk about finally, so we could show our genius whenever it comes down to things. Oh, man. So, Nev, 4th. Happy birthday, America.
America won.
Sure did. Anyways, so we got the Pens. There was Kyle Dubas is doing some good work. I like to see it. We're cleaning up. We got Riley Smith for a 3rd rounder during the draft just a couple of days ago there during the draft. The same one we traded away for Teddy Bluger. And I'm sure people in 3 years will be asking and clamoring to bring back that draft pick.
Yeah.
Just because.
Just because it's a Penguins thing to do.
Oh, look at him. We could have been this guy.
Look who he could have been for us.
We needed to bring that pick back. Bring it back. I mean, like Phil Gustafson. Nobody thought to trade him. End up wanting him back, but now we're kind of wish we kind of had him back.
Yeah. Wish we would have traded Jari, not him.
Yeah. And then the draft. Nev, you landed the Brandon Yeager pick. That was pretty rad. Got some shout outs on the Soch there. See, Yeager, you big on this kid, huh?
Yeah. I think he's going to be pretty good here in the next 2-3 years, I would say. I mean, he's got a good skating ability. He's good in both ends. His shot's unreal. I don't know if you've watched anything of him lately, but
I will say, whenever I was watching his shot, I kind of watched just like one of the highlight tapes. Sure, the highlight tapes, they're going to show the best and not the worst.
Right.
But like that, just his shot reminded me a lot of Phil Kessel.
Yes.
To a eerie extent, actually, just the way he would scorch down that one wing and then just let a flick go.
Far side.
And just a flick of the wrist and like that deceptive shot. I like seeing it. I mean, there was a couple others. I mean, I'm not really like it's a crapshoot. Like Philip Zadina from the Red Wings, who was like
he was
clamored to go
pick, and now he's
consensus. Done. Montreal and Ottawa were all in shambles because they didn't draft him. And I think Montreal maybe not better, but Ottawa definitely got the right guy there. Yeah. So and then who knows about the rest? We'll just see about the rest of the picks.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's always a dart throw after that. You hope for the best, but. I mean, you got just as much of a shot that he never even suits up for an AHL game, let alone an NHL game.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. I mean, just look at, but you could also find those diamonds in the rough, like Jake Ensel, 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
So,
time will tell on those.
Yep, absolutely.
Time will absolutely tell. Or, because I mean, I didn't see any of the prospect game. I don't care enough to watch it.
No.
But I did go see the Buccos game.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, that was, what was that, Friday, June 30th, last day of June.
Against the Brewers?
Yeah, Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah, Carlos Santana. I swear, I don't know, I get a buzz going in that building, and then I just get Yinzered up. Come on, Buccos! Let's go Pittsburgh!
I haven't been to a game in years, but...
Yeah, you can see the city drop.
You see it on social media, and then especially games like that where there's a walk off in the bottom of the 9th.
Oh, dude, it was the first pitch, and there was zero doubt because I was kind of right behind home plate too, not right behind it, but up back of things and kind of on the third baseline, and he just crushed it. It was
it was one of those right off the bat you could tell gone.
Goodbye.
Did you see the? Somebody did a voiceover of Greg Brown, who was one of the Pirates radio and TV announcers. He started singing one of the Carlos Santana songs, like Santana.
Which one was it? I missed it. Was it Smooth?
No, it's like a Spanish one where he's kind of.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yep. It's,
I can't think of the words in Spanish, but he's singing that.
We're not cultured enough to speak multiple languages. He just knows, he's saying words that I don't recognize. It was neat.
I know them from a song. I couldn't tell you how to say them, though.
But yeah, no, I mean, I played a couple years. I wasn't any good, but I mean, you get behind the plate and you get to watch the guy. I don't know. I grew up in the area with Rob Makowiak and Nate McLeod. It's hysterical wearing the Nate McClough shirt to the games because it's like, who else here has a shirt that is older than mine?
Kip Moreland wasn't that somebody?
Kip Wells?
Kip Wells, yeah. There was a Moreland, too. I can't remember.
There was a Mitch Moreland at one point.
Yeah, I think that's probably who I was thinking of.
Those are two different eras of Pirates
I
sucking.
couldn't tell you.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, my brain is just filled up with like all this useless pirate information from the 2000s that will help nobody out whatsoever, and I don't know how to get rid of it.
Same, but with hockey.
Yeah, I mean, same here too, and the NFL.
Yeah, no, I'm just hockey, pretty much.
Yeah. Then they I believe the Buccos then proceeded to drop the next two in against the Brewers. Had a couple of interesting games against the Dodgers. There's so many games I lose track.
Yeah, I can't follow.
Last I saw, they were in third place in their division, which I was like, hey, that's not fourth. That's not fifth.
You're doing
that's
things.
neat. They are doing things. They are kind of positive things. Oh, we got a 10 o'clock game tonight against the Dodgers too.
Oh, there we go.
That'll be. Oh,
shout out to Yinzer David Bednar making his second All-Star appearance.
That is news. That is indeed news.
That's about the extent of my baseball news and knowledge, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. They are back in fourth place now. Never mind. So much for the top three in the division.
They're only half a game back behind Chicago, though.
Yeah, but the Cubs have already kicked their asses like 6 different times this year in humiliating fashions and one way after another.
When you have a minus 40 run differential, I don't think you really deserve.
So did you know that they expanded their playoffs too?
The MLB?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's like they used to just have like the 3 division winners and 1 wild card, and I think it's like up to like 14, 16. I don't know exactly. But I think it's like
to me.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the first season doing it. So there is stupidly some hope. I think honestly though, it looks like the easier way is to win the division. But I mean, the Reds are also prone to falling apart.
Did we at least win the last wild card game we were in?
No.
I can't remember. Yeah. So let's win a wild card game first.
No, I want to win a series. Fuck that. Fuck that. Just like with the Penguins going balls to the wall with Erik Karlsson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope.
So
that would be awesome.
I want to see series 1. Sorry, Pirates. I want to talk about this because Pittsburgh seems to be having some Erik Karlsson fever dreams lately. And I thought it was crazy at first. I said, didn't they just try this in San Jose whenever they brought Brent Burns and Karlsson and had them together, and now they're there and trying to sell both. Well, Burns is already gone now. I was iffy. But now, I mean, he is a true power play quarterback.
101 points on that team.
I mean, for a defenseman even to put up that kind of numbers is just bonkers.
I think he's the first defenseman in 30 years to do that since Brian Leach, I do believe.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that was a stat I saw.
Wow. Yeah, so they just don't, because he just lets the offense run through him, and the idea of a power play just looking like that.
Imagine Chris Letang is running your second power play unit.
I don't know if that would fly.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm just the way I see it playing out is that they would probably just do Sid Malkin, Gensel,
Karlsson, Letang.
Yep.
And they do not come off of the ice.
Yeah, I mean, you can come off the ice. You gotta get some other shuffles in there. I mean, you got to. Riley Smith can maybe get out there.
Yeah, Riley Smith.
Give Jake a break.
Boy, that's not good. Riley Smith. Maybe Mikhail Granlund, depending on how
if he starts. So that's the other big thing, too. I just don't know how they fit him with the money. And everybody seems to be wondering. And this is why I guess Kyle Dubas is in the position he is in, because he's probably going to figure this way out, and it's going to melt our minds.
Yeah.
And we're going to be like,
he's going to pull this off.
This is good. How did they do this? Whoa. And because why would they keep him in San Jose? And I feel like they just almost are going to do it. Like, I don't and I feel like it's almost going to be like a return that is very not what you would expect the market to be for a Norris Trophy winning defenseman. Because, I mean, of the only teams, I mean, I've heard of have been the Penguins and Carolina, but Carolina is.
I just don't think they're able to.
Do they want to do?
Do they really? I was gonna say, do they really want to try Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson again?
Yeah, and I mean that might be
older.
Yeah, and I mean maybe that is their Carolina Hurricane fever dream. Maybe it's a Canes fan fiction. I don't know, but Sharks fans is Canes fan fictions. But either way, But either way, you get Karlsson on that team because I don't even care who else you really have. Like that's just a team that's going to be back in playoff series winning mode. But anyway, with news that they actually did make, though, because we did kind of switch into the Bucco talk before we wrapped up with the Riley Smith stuff, because July 1st was the first day of the free agency after my Bucco game, which, by the way, I'm allowed at these games. They just need to I think I want to see what my all-time record is whenever I'm at a home game. Just keep it in mind. Maybe I'll just start keeping track. Go through the data books.
Yeah, we'll put a little notch in your belt every time.
Yeah, and be the official number one fan by win percentage. That's an idea. But so yeah, July 1st was the free agency day.
Yeah, a big one.
Yeah, I mean, not really in terms of like the big bucks spent. I mean, well, Ryan Graves, he got himself a pretty solid deal with us. He got him 6 years.
Yeah, let me see here.
It was under $5 million.
Yeah, 6 years that'll end in the Penguins' down years and their bad years, bound to be.
Yeah, it's a contract you can move. It's still a contract that'll be movable.
By bad years, I mean after Sidney Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, after all that.
What if that doesn't happen? What if Sid plays like another 8 years?
Just as like Chris Chelios plays until he's mid-40s. I could see it.
Yeah.
I really could. It turns into like a Yager or something.
Yeah.
Just like buys the team and then plays.
This is Penguin fan fiction here, baby. We're still having fever dreams out here of Sidney Crosby just playing until he's 48 in an effective role.
but back to the Ryan Graves signing, I think that's like a perfect Brian Dumoulin replacement. I don't think, especially with the guys that were out there, I don't know how many other guys play that kind of a game. And I think that's going to be perfect for a partner for Letang.
Yeah. I think just the big size, big reach of the stick, that's going to be
physical. It's smart.
I don't know if he's necessarily, I mean, he knows how to put his body in the way good.
Right, that's what I mean. He's smart about it.
Put shots on net. I like to see it because sometimes you just need a simple reset at the point and just clap it on, create some more chaos, you know?
Yep.
And then we got a nice revamped bottom six.
Yeah. I'm really liking this look right now.
So who was your highlight signing of that bottom six out of curiosity? Like there's a good bit.
Yeah.
Because I think the first one of the day was Matt Nieto. And I'm going to be honest, I was kind of, okay. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but
he's not an offensive player.
No, but he's going to play
He's gonna be the little water bug that pisses you off and forechecks his balls off, and just does not stop playing.
Maybe kind of like the Michael Bunting role.
Yeah, a little bit because he likes to get under skin a little bit. He likes to piss some people off, and
we don't have anybody that really does that.
No, and I was hoping
Jason Zucker, who's now gone.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping that we were gonna be able to pick up Tyler Bertuzzi in the free agency, and I think he only got 1 year, $5 million,
5.5, I believe.
I mean, I know that right now where we are, it would have been hard to try to fit it in, but I wouldn't have been against it had we done it and had to move a couple of pieces.
Yes and no. I don't know. I kind of like what we did.
Don't get me wrong. I like what we did. So back to your original question, which of them is my favorite signing? If we can get the Lars Eller from like the Capitals years, like where we were going at him hard in the playoff against him in the playoffs every year, I like that as a third line center for us.
Yeah, Yeah, he can be a pretty solid player.
A cheaper deal, $2 million, I think, a year around there. For 2-3 years. Not bad. Yeah.
2 years, just about under 2.5.
But I think the new stable of the Penguins' bottom six is going to be Noel Acciari.
Yeah,
that signing is huge for this Penguins team.
I was going to say, I think that was going to be my main staple too, because Acciari is just he just kind of seems like that perfect bottom six guy that's really going to round out everything. And I wouldn't say necessarily hammers people. Well, maybe he kind of does.
He can.
Yeah.
He doesn't go out searching for it or do it at every shift, but the guy can definitely put the body on it. But again, he's just one of those players where he's hard. He makes it hard to play against him. Hard for a defenseman to want to play against him because defenseman going back for a puck on the forecheck is knowing he's just going to get leveled into the wall, and probably end up causing a turnover. So.
Yeah, and that's true, and it's deeper because we just rattled off three of them.
He's got some.
I just rattled off three names too. It just seems like a deeper bottom six all around. You got some young guys like that. Alex Nylander could help out a bit too in that mix. I don't know about in the bottom six role, but maybe shifting up into the top six.
Higher.
Yeah,
maybe so.
Get Rust into a third line.
I was going to say, move Rust back down to a third line. Still not a bad third line. I mean, Riley Smith is a center, correct?
I believe he was predominantly playing the wing in Vegas.
So I
believe left
So
wing.
you could do a Lars Eller or a Noel Acciari on your third line with a Brian Rust, and then like I said, Lars Eller or Noel Acciari, I guess, whichever one you want to swap onto the wing.
But or put Matt Nieto in the mix too. You just have a lot more pieces to play with. There's also Drew O'Connor still out there as well.
He's going to arbitration.
And you got, there's still Mikhail Granlund's and Carter.
Mikhail Granlund didn't. He was bad for the Penguins, but when you look at it, he wasn't terrible in Nashville.
I think he just also had nobody to play with other than Drew O'Connor.
Yeah, exactly.
That bottom six, that was just a train wreck.
That's what I mean. And so I think you get him some guys that can actually play a little bit.
Yeah, and I just feel like you're just a lot deeper of a team currently. Yeah. Where you stood going into free agency. And just looking at the forwards, too. It just feels a lot deeper. Nylander, Nieto, Acciari, Eller. Yeah. So you got some really solid players. You get Erik Karlsson in that mix somehow.
Yeah. If you can get Erik Karlsson in that mix and not trade Marcus Pettersson, then you have Letang, Graves, Pettersson, Karlsson, and Ruda and Joseph. That's a hell of a defensive core, if you ask me.
Send Joseph part of the deal. Trust us, he's still a young prospect. He'll be great. He just needs more ice time, San Jose. You got plenty for him.
I'm not against him.
I don't know. I think I'd rather see
Ty Smith.
I think I'd rather see Ty Smith at this point. I think I'm kind of over. I don't think the P.O. Joseph thing's going to go anywhere at this point. He's just a little skinny. I don't know. It's just I saw it a fair amount last year. He just kind of.
Problem is I think
got worse.
Last year's pick is going to be that way too. Owen Pickering. He's got that same kind of tall, lengthy, no real size. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see in the next couple of years.
Yeah, we shall see them develop. You never know because it's tough to. They're just kids and just 19-year-olds and 18-year-olds getting drafted. Just little babies that don't even know what to do yet.
Unless your name's Connor Bedard, then you're just going to be a god.
Yeah, so I did want to talk about that because, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I am a fantasy hockey champion past season. And I was curious and just kind of where do you, because I don't know if people around here really even understand Connor Bedard yet. Maybe they've seen him, maybe not. I think he might step right in and be one of these top 30 players in the league.
I've heard a lot of people around the NHL talking about how Connor Bedard, setting the over/under at 65.5 points, I think, and I've heard a vast majority.
I want to slam that over.
I was going to say a vast majority are saying well over 65 and a half.
Because I actually low-key kind of like what Chicago did. Like,
Insulating
they got
him
him
with Taylor Hall.
Hall, Corey Perry,
Nick Foligno.
and Nick Foligno.
I mean, and they still have a pretty, like, heavy team around that, too, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they're mostly jabronis and bums at that point.
Yeah,
but
but
and Athanasiou just being a speedy guy, that could be interesting. That could be interesting. I mean, I don't think Chicago will still be a very good team necessarily, but
no, I don't think they will.
I think the offense might finally be back in the Windy City.
Yeah, I think so. Their defense is still struggling, but you need a kid that in 7 WHL playoff games had 20 points.
That's pretty bonkers.
Unreal.
Kind of like video game-like numbers like we saw McDavid put up last season.
5'10", 185 pounds. He became the first Western Hockey League skater with at least 140 points in 27 seasons and had a 35-game point streak. And in that 35-game point streak, 44 goals, 46 assists.
And I know it's
that's like the Western Hockey League, for those that don't know. Yes, it's junior, it's under 20. But the Western Hockey League is like it's the biggest guys. It's not the biggest league, but it's like mostly the biggest guys. They're most like 6'2", 210, 220. That's what you're seeing.
A lot of like Midwestern Canadian boys.
Yeah, farm boys.
Yeah.
So we kind of know what farm boys are around here. But
oh yeah, got a fair amount out here too.
But just imagine playing against a kid that's 5'10", 185 pounds, and he's just making you look like an absolute fool.
I mean, I fully expect it at this day and age. Now that I'm over 30,
right?
So like, I'm terrified of him.
In 7 World Championship games, he had 23 points for Team Canada. 7 games, 23 points.
Pretty astounding numbers, and that's against different competition. It's still under 20 competition, but yeah, I think I might go in the
go to that opening game,
because I remember I drafted McDavid in his rookie year, and I couldn't tell you for the life of me where I got him. But
I wasn't talking about fantasy hockey. I was talking about like going to the game, because the first game of the year we play Chicago.
That'll probably be a pretty pricey ticket. I hope. Well, yet again, we didn't make playoffs. They should reduce the prices.
It should be pretty down.
They should just give us free tickets because we just talk about them. and for all of our services for the Penguins organization over the years.
Oh yeah, because we've done so much for them.
Oh yeah. But not to degrade them or disgrace them at all.
Yeah. But shout out to some of our boys out in Columbus, man. They got a pretty good draft pick.
Yeah, that was kind of a shocker, too, from the draft weekend.
A little bit, yeah.
Because everybody had Fantilli.
Everybody had Fantilli. Did you see there was a guy, like, outside of the draft? He had a custom Anaheim Ducks jersey made. 23 Fantilli. And they picked Leo Carlson.
Crushing.
Dude probably spent $150 on that jersey.
Yeah, why not just at least gamble on it and just make like $50 off of what you think should definitely happen? But yeah, because interesting. I don't know exactly what to expect from the Ducks on that, but yeah, Columbus though, that's another Michigan kid. I'm sure those Buckeye faithful love that.
Yeah, I texted one of our Ohio buddies that night, and I said, "Well, you guys got somebody you basically shouldn't have gotten in this draft pick. You know, he should have gotten picked before he got the chance to go to Columbus." I was like, "This kid's gonna be so good for Columbus. He's gonna be like a godsend to that team." And then I told him he played for the University of Michigan. He was like, "Fuck." I was like, "Yeah, I feel that."
It's like him and Werenski. And
yeah, I was like, dude, how does it feel for like 3 of your best 5 players to be from Michigan? Because Fantilli, like you said, Werenski, and then Kent Johnson as well.
That was the other one, Kent Johnson. Yeah, they are. Well, I mean, time will tell. If they win him a cup, they might Find a new biggest rival.
Yeah, right. But so I mean, back to Anaheim. Anaheim's just
do they feel directionless to me?
No, I think so. Their GM now, Pat Verbeek. I think he's their GM, right? Anyway,
I believe so.
He was in the Red Wings organization for many years, and he was under Ken Holland, and we all know Ken Holland loved to draft Swedish players. Nicholas Lidstrom, Johan Franzen. Need I continue?
The list continues. Please continue.
I think that's where Thomas Holmstrom, Nicholas Kronwall.
Okay, I got it.
I had to do that for myself because I was running out of ideas there. But, so yeah, I think that's kind of where the consensus was, where like going into the draft, or like, you know, in the weeks, whatnot, going into the draft, everybody was like, oh, it's going to be Fantilli, number 2.
Yeah,
and then you get to like the couple of days before the draft, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, they might go Karlsson. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, because there's been like things like running rampant. I remember there was like a rampant rumor for the NFL draft that the Kentucky quarterback Will Levis was supposed to go. He's going to go number 1 overall to Carolina, and all the sports books shifted odds on things. I don't think any sports book shifted odds on that, though.
No.
They don't care enough.
And then shout out to San Jose picking a kid by the name of Will Smith from the United States National Team Development Program.
No.
He literally walked up to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air intro song, like from the show.
Oh, yeah. I'm well aware. I love me a good throwing back and bringing back reference.
You can't go wrong there. And then the one pick that I think upsets me the most is Matvei Mishkov going to the Flyers.
You were hoping to get him.
I wasn't necessarily hoping to get him because I figured if Washington was able to pick him, I figured they were going to, being that he's got to have ties to Ovechkin.
Yeah, you figured.
But to go to the Flyers for that kid. But from what I heard, I guess he went and had like a meeting with them, and a couple of nights before the draft or whatever, they shut down the Flyers practice facility there in Voorhees that we've been to.
Yeah,
they shut that down to have him come in and talk to them. And I guess Danny Briere was saying he expressed like tons of interest into being a Philadelphia Flyer, and it made me sick.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see why like somebody would want to go to Philly and bring them a championship if they're outside of the country, because they saw, Eagles fans eating horse shit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of appealing to a Russian, watching somebody eat horse shit. I don't know.
That would probably make me want to go.
Make me want to be a fan of that team.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be the fan of the team that has to eat, because I mean, I like having teams that have won championships. We know what pain is. We know what pain is like with the Buccos. Yeah, because you've seen 3 winning seasons in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Actually, it's my lifetime too. Who am I
gonna say? Yeah,
I was an infant in '92 for the Sid Bream incident. I didn't see shit.
Don't remember jack shit.
No, nothing at all. Matvei Mishkov.
Yeah, I that kid's he's gonna. If I believe if there's anybody that's going to, I think Ovechkin's gonna break Wayne Gretzky's goal record, and I think if anybody in the next however many years is gonna do it, other than Connor McDavid, I think it'll be Matvei Mishkov.
That's a pretty wild take.
The kid, he had better numbers in juniors and World Juniors and all that than Ovechkin did. More goals per game, everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, from there, you can only...
It's kind of a shame it's going to be a couple years. Well, good, actually. Maybe he'll come to his senses, and the Flyers will keep going in a draining spiral as they go with celebrity brain crash as their idea of a new leadership is by bringing in all the NBC executives. Well, not executives, but hockey guys. I still can't believe they brought in Edzo.
Wait, I didn't even see that.
Edzo?
I knew they brought in Keith Jones, but I didn't know they brought in Eddie Olczyk.
Yeah, they brought in Eddie Olczyk. I can't remember the role name, but they brought in Keith Jones, Eddie Olczyk, Patrick Sharp,
Pierre Maguire.
I think they're actually. I saw a thing too that they think they were looking at Danny Heatley. I don't know how credible that is.
I wouldn't. It's probably from that Danny Heatley account on Twitter. But back to the Penguins signings. What are your thoughts on the Jarry signing? First of all,
that is the hot take around Pittsburgh now, ain't it?
Yeah,
that is. Oh man. Oh boy. That's a tough tale. Let me tell you a tale. I was a young man last year at one point, and it was a tough season. It also, it's the tough seasons are also what make championship teams. I drafted Tristan Jarry, and things were fun at first. He was winning. Things were great. And I was winning. And I also had me Connor Hellebuck too, so that didn't really matter. But not like anybody cares about my team, but I care. Anyways, I draft, but then everything starts happening last year, and I was so done. Like by the time March rolled around, it felt like I felt like I'd aged 10 years. Just trying to be like Jarry's like homeboy. Because I'd go to the games, I wouldn't even be mad at him or anything. I'd just be like,
just trying to figure out what the fuck he's doing half the time.
Like yelling at him like he's my brother. Like, come on, Tristan, get out there. Come on, stop some pucks today. Stop some pucks today, bro, please. Oh, boy, he's done for. Oh, I got to get him off my team quick. And it took me until about March, but then I did end up dropping him. But the moral of the story is I was ultra invested in Tristan Jarry's contract year last year. And I didn't want him back. I didn't see a reason to bring him back. There were rumors of the chronic hip injury that were as well going on. I don't know how much credibility is still in those reports, but I mean, they are out there. Might have just been one doctor that said it. Could have gotten a second, third opinion. Guys said, don't look that bad to us, but one guy thinks it might be chronic. That's if I had to take a guess.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the money value. In the term, I don't necessarily like either.
But in the last episode of Yinzcenter, we literally sat here and discussed all of our free agent options, and we were sick. Like, at the end of it, I think I was like not feeling well at the end of that. Like, I think my stomach chemistry was. I was like, Jonas Korpisalo, he got a bag.
He got a bag.
And then you watch everything kind of happening on. Just unfolding during the free agent day, and it kind of just stuck with our ride or die, I guess, man. But it still seems like at the very least it is still a movable contract. It's not something that's going to bury you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised that
that's probably a thought that went into it.
If he has a bad start to the year, maybe you do try to shop him. Maybe you try to. Shop him to Winnipeg for Connor Hellebuck because, I mean, at this point,
the goalie for term for an expiring goalie, and you got
that's
all right. So look,
you got to have like a deal. It's almost like a sign and trade kind of a thing.
Yeah, but then at that point, but we didn't have our Karlsson fever dreams yet.
Also true.
You can't have Connor Hellebuck, man.
Yeah, and Erik Karlsson.
You can't have it.
I think.
As nice as that would
be. I
be.
genuinely think that if the Penguins got Erik Karlsson... Listen, did the Penguins miss the playoffs last year? Yes.
They deserve to.
They missed by a goddamn point, though.
They deserve to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. The way you lose to Chicago
I was
in the
yelling
last
in
game.
the arena against the Edmonton game. I said, this is not a playoff team. I hope they miss it.
To lose like that with your season basically on the line against a terrible Chicago team the way that they did, they didn't deserve to make the playoffs. However, you revamp the bottom six. Say you bring in an Erik Karlsson for Jeff Petrie.
I I think that would be the shakeup that would be needed to get this team excited.
Because
if you're going to keep all these old boys together,
you
there's only one thing that can really shake it up. Things would be to somehow pull this off.
You had,
and I don't think
high level
seasons. No, because Hellebuck, I feel like they would just rely on the goalie more. Because like with that, I felt like they did that with Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was a hyper athletic goalie. Hey, this is advertised as one of the best. We can rely on him to stop the pucks, and we can pinch a bit more and be a little bit more dangerous because I know that guy's going to back me up. And, and then that's how you lead into that old Flyers series where we got our asses kicked in like a bunch of high scoring games.
Yeah,
but. Where were you going?
I can't remember. I was trying. I kept 4 or 5 times. I was like, I don't know now.
Great. That's fantastic news. But yeah, I mean, it's Karlsson. You can't. It's not fantasy hockey in that regard. You can't piece together
it's not like you're going to get them and guarantee yourselves to win the cup. I mean, look what we did with Jerome McGinley.
Look what the Rangers did last year.
Exactly.
They did that.
They're trying to do it again too. They're trying to bring Jonathan Quick and Blake Wheeler in, and that's not going to help that
the
team.
Old Rangers hat and pony trick. They got to bring in
that old experienced guy.
At least Blake Wheeler was on a reasonable deal.
Yeah, well, that's because he got bought out from his good deal.
He's still making money either way. That's for sure.
Still bringing in the bread.
So, man, what you been up to?
Still working out, doing my usual pushing, and did like 7.5 miles yesterday, and then pushed up here today, and
yeah,
just and then last week, I think it was last week. One of our buddies from Ohio came in to skate and whatnot, stay with a buddy of mine up in Johnstown. So they came down here, and we were able to get a couple hours of ice down here at Delmont. So able to get some stick time in for about 2 or 3 hours in. So, and it was just like 4 or 5 of us. No, like 5 or 6 of us.
That's rad.
And then a goalie. Actually, we had 2 goalies too the one day. So
ooh, let it rip on them.
Yeah. It was the one guy's dad. So I kind of felt bad just ripping pucks, but
I mean, he's out there for a reason.
Yeah. It was just fun. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, just trying to kind of get after it, and like I said, just keep myself on that path.
Path is still blazing on here in the middle of July. As we touch almost 90 degrees out here today for the first. I feel like it's the first time this summer. Who cares about the weather? Why the fuck am I talking about
It's pretty close, if not. But yeah, why are we talking weather? This is not a weather forecast. How do you think the signing of Alex Nedeljkovic is going to affect Casey DeSmith?
Bye-bye,
if
Casey. He's probably going to go to the minors. I don't know. I don't know. They're going to battle it out in camp. It's going to be an interesting battle, I think. About time you have some competition in the net, too, because I feel like the last couple of years we just kind of let it be Casey as the backup, and there's no internal competition. Yeah. I always just thought he was, at best, maybe like if I stepped in. If you threw out just like an average-sized dude and he's got some quick twitch and he couldn't play good, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm sure he's still quality goalie, but compared to the best of the best, he's probably like the 40th best goalie in the league. I mean,
he had a down year in Detroit, but also 70th. Detroit was not very good. So
yeah, Detroit, a young gunning team, but Nedeljkovic, don't forget,
when he was in Carolina, he was pretty good. He helped them win a couple of games in the playoffs.
Yeah, and in those old EA Sports games too, the NHL, whatever year that he would have been like a younger one, he was a high potential prospect. So that's always going to be in the back of my head. He's always going to be
great to know.
Yeah,
I have written down here, so obviously Tristan Jarry was re-signed. He was the best available option in free agency, I feel, goaltending-wise.
Yeah, and I feel like that's at the end of the day where I kind of was with everything, too.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't going to get anything better in free agency, and I don't think the trade market for a goalie is there because everybody wants a number one goalie, and nobody has 3 number one goalies.
Yeah.
So
And you know what? Sometimes the best thing that helps out getting people to do it their best is internal competition.
Yeah, exactly. And the Penguins also signed a fourth goalie, I believe Magnus Hellberg.
Yeah, another Red Wing guy.
Yeah.
Former Red Wing for a little bit.
So, I mean, just some more competition for Casey DeSmith.
It doesn't have the same luster as it did when we were young and Pens were in their first cup run. Former Red Wing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, former Red Wings back then, I thought I was getting like some grizzled veteran.
I liked what I was hearing from them. Yeah.
Like Tommy Holmstrom.
Exactly.
Sick.
Johan Franzen.
Yeah.
But no, I think he'll beat out Casey DeSmith, and I think he'll end up being Jari's backup this year.
Nedeljkovic
Yes, Nedeljkovic, yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then
How many Yinzers do you think will actually pronounce his name correctly?
0.
Not even one on accident.
No. They couldn't purposely say that right.
Nedeljkovic, nah.
Yeah, exactly. That's about as close as you might get.
Nedeljkovic do?
But so I think DeSmith and DeSmith and Hellberg are going to be sent to the minors. Maybe I know Kyle Dubas said he wants to have depth at the goaltending position because let's face it. I mean, we all know what happened in the one playoff run where we had to have Jeff Zadkoff come in and start.
I like that one.
So I did too.
Not the one where Louis Domingue had to come in.
No, having his spicy pork.
Though it was pretty funny though when we tried to make Louis a thing.
Yeah, because
because everybody was all
they had that in
stoked on
Tampa Bay for him in Tampa Bay, and then we were like, "Oh, we'll do that." No. But yeah, so I have him. I have DeSmith and Hellberg going to the minors, and like I said, you might see Casey DeSmith gone, traded.
I don't think anybody would want him.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody.
I think you'd still rather I would rather have faith in Casey DeSmith as my third string goalie. I have a lot more faith in that.
Arizona.
Yeah.
They have like a kid my age, I think, Kirill Vmelka. But other than that, I don't know who they have in that. So they could use DeSmith as like
I feel like they just kind of create players like
Aiden
they
Hill.
just Well, Aiden Hill, Stanley Cup
he
champion.
kind of came out of nowhere with them and then got traded to Vegas. But yeah, I mean, I still think that you might see Jeff Petrie and Mikhail Granlund moved. I feel like if we get Erik Karlsson, you're moving Jeff Petrie. And from what I've heard, San Jose does not want to retain a whole lot of salary on Erik Karlsson, like maybe $3-4 million.
Please.
Which would put. Now, granted, that's not bad, but he's making $11 million.
Is it 11 or 11 and a half? I think the cap hit is 11 and a half.
I think the cap hit might be 11.5. Regardless, you're looking at what, 7, 8.5. So, I mean, that's not terrible. But if you could somehow get a third team like Arizona involved, and you can move Mikhail Granlund and one of the goalies, or Mikhail Granlund and Jeff Petrie, one of those two, whoever you send back.
I think it would almost have to be Petrie because you can't.
You have to. Petrie's gone no matter what. It's just a matter of where you end up sending him. But I think if you end up doing a 3-team trade, you can have double salary retention on Karlsson, right? So you get San Jose to do whatever percentage-wise they want to do.
Because this was some of the stuff that Jimmy Rutherford did for the Derek Brassard deal.
Right, and then you get like an Arizona or somebody that has a bunch of cap space that they need to fill before the season starts. You get them to eat, what's the max, 50%?
Yes.
So I don't think you're going to get somebody to retain 50% unless you're giving up a lot.
No, but if they eat another 3 or 4 million.
Exactly. And then you're down to like, what, 4, 5, 6 million for Erik Karlsson for the next 4 years. I'm all right with that. Again, 6, 7, 8 million, not against it, because look at the production you're getting. But I digress.
So the Karlsson fever dreams are absolutely running rampant. Mm-hmm.
And listen, for great reason.
Yeah, because that's kind of the best, most realistic chance of assembling a Penguins pretend it feels like just like one of them being GM meds and actually going for the best player, just loading it up one last time.
Yeah. I mean,
you think we'll have to sacrifice some futures? Definitely, probably a first.
I would say probably next year's first. But you get Erik Karlsson, your hope is you're going to make a deep run, so that pick's not going to be a high pick for you anyway.
Yeah.
Which
and for the record, there's nobody else I'd probably want to even consider making a similar trade for.
No, I can't really think of anybody. I mean,
I know there was Noah Hannafin talk during this 2-week stretch here.
But I don't think it wouldn't be near the return that Karlsson would get, first of all.
Yeah. And Karlsson just does something that Hannafin doesn't do, and that's run a power play.
Yeah.
And that's something that the Penguins don't have since Gonchar.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Tank can run a power play, but they need that second guy. Jeff Petry's okay on the power play. But to have, like you said, somebody like Sergei Gonchar who just can read a play and then just know exactly what to do with it, not even necessarily having to look, just know what to do with a puck. Unreal. That'd be so good for this Penguins team.
And then like I heard on the radio today, just kind of having a reset point. Having a reset point.
It would be one of those very good things for the locker room where I think everybody in the locker room will go, holy shit, we pulled this off?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was referring to.
This guy?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was referring to earlier. It's like, since you committed to the old guys with Sid, Gino, Letang, and, well, maybe Jake, I think that's really your only move that you can make. It's to, like, shake things up at this point.
Exactly, yeah.
To shake the staleness off.
Yeah, there's
another potential playoff defeat.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the only thing I could have thought would have been, like, forward-wise, bringing, like, an Alex DeBrincat, because he's not sounding like he's really wanting to do a whole lot of talking with Ottawa.
That's going to be more expensive than this.
Well,
in terms of cap and what he's going to want as his contract, is he's not going to sign a deal and then get retained, and because he's going to want $9 million.
Right.
And I don't think I don't think they're going to care about some kid coming in. I think the only thing that they're going to care about is this guy that they literally battled against in 2017.
Yeah, exactly.
Who gave them his actual all in that. Literally
in that series against us,
in that 17, that was
the one that ended the Ottawa Senators franchise.
For that era of their hockey team. Yep, it did.
For the last 6 years or so.
I will say they got an exciting team.
They do.
They got an interesting team. It's fun.
Yeah, they got another young defenseman coming up. I think he might be even Jake Sanderson. He's going to be really good.
I think he was already up last season.
Yeah, he played. I think he played late last season.
Yeah, he was up there a good bit.
I know he was in college. I know he was playing, I think, University of North Dakota or something like that. But
I feel like that was 2 years ago because I'm pretty sure he played last year.
Maybe, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, regardless, he's going to be very good for them. And then they got still got a lot of good young forwards coming up. They still got,
and they can score and they can hit.
And
that's what and Timmy Stützle.
Yeah,
I saw a stat that he actually also had over 100 hits, and there was only like a few players in the league with like 100 hits and 80-something points.
Oh wow!
I was just like, damn. Like,
I could only really think of like 3 off the top of my head.
Yeah, and 2 of them are on the same team.
Yeah.
And the same team that their fans once clamored, no, we need to get Philip Zadina. So that's an interesting one, though. I've made a couple of jokes about that, but because he was a Red Wings high pick and 6th overall pick, 2018,
something like that. Yeah,
and already put on waivers for buyout.
Yeah,
full blown mutually exclusive termination of the contract.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean,
would you have any interest in him on a Penguin team? I don't think he'd want to play here.
I don't think we have the position for him.
Yeah.
He's not a third line. He's not a role player. I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of starting to look like that's kind of the direction his career might be heading.
In the NHL, yes. But I don't... He's still young, don't get me wrong. I think he's still only like 23.
And sometimes it fixes snaps like that.
Yeah, it can happen at the snap of a finger.
23 to 27. That's some good maturing years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So maybe he ends up popping off somewhere, but I mean, I would.
I think
he's going to want at least $1 million or $2 million.
Well, no, I don't even think the money's going to be an issue. I don't think that's going to be the issue.
No,
here.
not for us.
I think the issue. I don't even think that. Well, because he already went on waivers
general.
once. He already went on waivers once and went completely unclaimed. So they already let teams have him for free, and everybody passed.
Them, yeah.
And now it's a full-blown termination of the contract. So, like, he's not even getting a buyout.
Yeah, right.
He's getting no money. He's betting on himself to find the right spot.
And maybe, I mean...
Yeah, it's a ballsy
maybe a team
move.
like Vancouver could be a good fit for him because I
feel like Vancouver is the exact. I feel like Vancouver is the quickest way to derail his career. I think that's the actual quickest way to derail.
I'm just
his
trying to
whole
think of
career.
somebody that could.
He'll go play at the Czech League and we'll never hear from him again.
Yeah,
he went to Vancouver.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yotes?
Because he's not a third or fourth line player.
Yotes?
Could go and play a top 6 role for them because they're
Chicago.
That might be a little bit more realistic.
I mean, they got.
I can't remember what side him and Halsey played, but maybe you try a line of him, Halsey, and Bedard. I don't know. I mean, I know you get a Corey Perry or Nick Foligno to probably play with him, but I mean that option's there.
I think one of those two guys is going to be. They
Yeah,
might just
they're going
flank
to
him with
stable
both.
him.
They might just flank him with both. Fuck it.
I mean, no, you're not going to get Taylor Hall and not play him with this kid.
Split up the offense, but
It's not happen. Not in Chicago. Not when they have just those two.
speaking of Chicago, that maybe we should start doing interviews because that Kyle Davidson thing.
That Kyle Davidson
hit the
interview
draft,
was funny.
and
Yeah.
it was
So for those of you that don't
freaking
know, there was an interview going around to this NHL GM, and he was just walking around. So the draft was in Nashville, and he was walking down. I think it's like Broadway in Nashville, and he's just casually wearing a T-shirt and like a backwards baseball hat, and these people are like that are like a Nashville hockey podcast are asking him all these
Penalty
questions.
Box Radio.
Yeah,
I want to credit them because I don't want their
yeah. We don't need their podcast coming after us.
yeah.
But no, that I
Good
mean,
work.
Listen, it was
Good
a great
work,
video.
gents.
It was a great video.
Good work, gents. Yeah, it's brilliant. Even though honestly, I wouldn't have recognized.
I would have
Kyle
had
Davidson.
no idea. Yeah,
What's up,
he's
Kyle?
in his late 30s, maybe mid to late 30s.
Yeah, I would just think he's some
And
dude.
yeah, he's just some dude. He's like I said, you don't think when you think of a general manager of a professional sports team, you're not thinking of a guy walking down the street in a backwards baseball hat and a T-shirt and like probably some flip flops or
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's just being himself.
Yeah, that's just it. But I feel like most people don't have that vision of a general manager who's got to be like a millionaire, multi-millionaire.
Yeah. Money don't change you. Don't let the money change you.
Exactly. But a lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people let the money change them. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that he ended up being interviewed for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then they had no idea who he was, and finally he was like, I should probably go back and like tell them who I was. So he walks back up to him, and they're like, are you serious? So they literally looked him up right there on the spot. I would have had to too.
I would have not believed him
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Like, dude, you're messing.
Fuck out of here, man. But like, if a dude walks past, doesn't say anything, and then walks back and then tells you, I might be a little bit more inclined to believe him at that point.
Yeah, because I think at that point too, because like you already did the whole interview, and then why would he come up and
And then be like, oh hey,
yeah,
I'm this big shot. Like, I'm an executive
By
for
the
an
way,
NHL team.
you actually just did a professional media interview and had no clue. The answers were great, though, because
The way he rattled off like 10 Blackhawks players, and like, they were like, "Oh, how many NHL players can you name in like 30 seconds or something?" And he's been with the Hawks for like 10, 12 years, something like that. So he was like, Brian Bickle, Johnny Oduya, Michael Roosevelt.
Yeah, they're like, oh, those guys, those are all throwbacks.
Who's
It's
Michael Roosevelt? Shout out to former Penguin Michael Roosevelt.
Oh, man, those are some good days.
They were.
And they were bad days. Yeah, so Michael Roosevelt.
Yeah, the X generation of Penguins.
Speaking of the eras of running it back and everything, where like I just can't forget the dumb things like that of the 2000s and those sports teams. And yeah, Michael Roosevelt, that's a name, along with Rob McCowiak, that is always at the top of my head.
Rico Fata.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah.
And Steve McKenna.
Yeah, that's my dude. I wonder if he's still coaching over in Australia.
I hope so.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know what Steve McKenna's up to. I don't think he gets.
I just knew
much
at
media
one.
attention.
No, I just knew at one point, like on his like Wikipedia page or something, he was listed as a professional coach over in Australia. I was like, all right. I mean, hey.
So, fun fact: we told some Penguins tales last time too. I think was Steve McKenna the first Penguin you ever met?
Among them, yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time.
It was the first time I had met a group of Penguins. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was at the old Cannonsburg South Point rink, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I remember. So, him and our dad are about the same height. They're about 6'6", and back then, Jay was in pretty decent shape. So he tells us all the time.
Right in the age wheelhouse.
Yeah.
To look like a professional athlete.
Yeah. So all these kids kept coming up to him for like to sign an autograph, and he was like, "No, I'm not." And Steve McKenna literally just looks at him and goes, "Just sign it for him." Just he was like, "What?" And he was like, "Just sign. They don't know who the hell you are. They don't know that you're not an NHL player. Just sign your name. Just sign something." I was like, I mean, hey, why not? Like, give some little kid I want $500. I've given my autograph to little kids before, and
is that cool? Is that cool to do? I never got that.
Yeah,
Nobody
is
cares
when
if I
you're,
autograph
especially
anything.
whenever it's like another disabled kid.
Yeah.
So like being on the U.S. national development team, we had a couple of kids come in a couple of different times, and it was just like a meet and greet for them. I shouldn't call it this, but it's basically like a Make-A-Wish kind of a thing for them, where like they get to see a bunch of people disabled playing sports. So get to like realize that, oh, I could do this if I really want to, kind of a thing. But like, or they're just like kids that they know that the team's going to be in town that weekend because you have the same training areas, so they know the schedule. And then they're just like, whoa, this is so cool. Can I have your autograph? Even just able-bodied kids. It's like the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean,
they don't know. They just see like somebody in a wheelchair and they're like, that's awesome. And they're little kids. And they're like, can you sign this? I'm like, yeah, why not?
wow, he is a really good hockey
Yeah,
player.
he has no legs and he's really good at playing hockey.
Yeah. Maybe these will be worth something someday. Nobody really knows. Maybe still the Milan quest remains on.
Well, definitely if you're Brody Roybal or Declan Farmer, your signature's been
I
something.
saw another Brody Roybal video on my phone today.
Doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
That kid's everywhere.
yeah. And like I would see people like just shouting them out in the comments. It's like, imagine you just go out and just see Brody rolling down the street. I'm like, wow, they sound like me just talking, mentioning him by his first name at this point. Like,
Kid's literally just a torso.
yeah. I mean, he's a monster of a torso still.
yeah.
Oh, my good grief.
Literally just like nothing from like the waist down.
I remember broing down with him once, real quick. Yeah, you got him in trouble too. Anyways, before we get too deep into that, we're gonna wrap up the show. Hey, everybody, thanks again for tuning in. It's been another great one. It's hot as balls out there. We're gonna have some good times. We got maybe some guests on the horizon, and we're gonna be breaking down some more stuff for you as these summer dog days wear down. So thanks for listening again, and y'all.
All right, thanks guys. See you next week.
Let's go Pens.